Hello there, everyone. Welcome to the Pre-Diet Podcast. My name is Allie Virtue. I am your host and functional medicine nutritionist. And today's episode is a fun one. This is actually going to be a live recording of a nutrition talk I was asked to give for Chamber Business Women for Salem, Oregon. And I had an absolute blast. The topic was healthier through the holidays your way. So this is where I got to teach a whole group of women how to literally create your ideal scenario as far as getting through the holidays in a really healthful way, in a way that doesn't promote restriction or make you go crazy. But on the other side, it also doesn't leave you feeling just like blah, like you overate the whole time, didn't exercise, et cetera, et cetera. So this is where we're actually going to find that mysterious balance that everyone is craving. So without any further ado, thank you so much for being here. Hopefully you learn a lot. There's also a lot of materials that are mentioned in this episode. You can find those if you subscribe to the Free Shit Friday email list at parksidenutrition.com/subscribe. You'll get instant access to the worksheets, a full replay of this episode to share with friends, and all the materials that are mentioned in the episode are right there. So hopefully you learned something, walk away with a plan, and thank you so much for being here. Let's dive into the episode.
Hi, everybody. Let's just preface this that I'm really fun. I have fun with food, so like zero food shame, guilt, anything like that. Like I promise it's fun. So no need to, we can leave all that kind of baggage behind. Oh my gosh, I spoke too soon. Oh, stop it. All right, we'll see how this goes. So healthier holidays, your way. So I can't, unfortunately, give you a list of like, eat this, don't eat this. It's unfortunately, you can make it that simple. Highly don't recommend that strategy. So I'm going to ask a lot of questions because you all want the holidays that you want. You all have different health goals, but there are some unifying principles that I think are really helpful. And at our table, we talked a lot about mindset and changing our behavior. We're going to talk a lot about that today because I can't pick your goals for you. I really want to give you the tools of like, how do I coach myself? How do I get myself through this situation to get the result that I want? And I absolutely love this stuff. So I'm going to try real hard to keep to 25 minutes. All right. First of all, nice to meet you. My name's Allie. I'm a nutrition coach. I'm a functional medicine nutritionist. Any of those things apply. I'm not a registered dietitian. I didn't want to work at a hospital. I really wanted to be proactive and teach people how to eat, how to do this whole healthy lifestyle thing, so it looks different. Both my parents are teachers, so sorry for the worksheets, but you can take them home. But I did really like the nutrition coach aspect. This is not an all or nothing thing. It is a skill that you can get better at. You can practice it. There's no final exam on this stuff. It's just something you develop over time and hopefully in a way that you enjoy to some degree. This thing is going to drive me nuts. All right. I started Parkside Nutrition in 2017, have a master's in human nutrition and functional medicine, lots of other certifications, perpetual nerd. Also previous overeater. I struggled really hard with binge eating when I was in grad school, graduated 2018. But also a forever foodie. So I wanted to learn more about food. I loved it. It's a piece of culture, family, so many aspects of life. But I also loved the science of it. And I saw how powerful it was for my own health. So I wanted to learn how to teach people to do this to a degree that gets them the results that they want. There's my lovely husband, Jared Virtue. Some of you might know him. He's a financial advisor in town. I do CrossFit. Love to lift weights. That's one of my 3 horses there. Lou, love to compete them on occasion as well. But my intention today is really to hopefully bring down the stress a little bit as far as nutrition heading into the new year. I want it to be very practical, hence the worksheets. You walk out with a plan type of thing. So you can find that elusive balance, that gray area. We're ditching the all or nothing black and white strategies for this next year. I already said no dietary dogma, no shame, just going to give you some tools to hopefully get you the results that you want to feel good. First, we got to cover some basics just so we're on the same page so I don't start talking like protein and carbs and fats and fibers and you're like, what is this lady talking about? So also, so you guys know my priorities, because there's a lot of information out there that I think a lot of people will focus on the tiny little details before they've built the foundation of their house, right? So this is my approach. I call it the pre-diet approach. This is because I want you guys to learn these principles before you reach for a specific diet that might be a little on the complicated side. These are the fundamentals and kind of in my order of operations as far as like what I generally want my clients to care about first. So number one is a positive mindset. I've never ever heard or seen anybody hate themselves into a healthier body. It never lasted. It's not going to stay that way. Okay? So let's just take that off the table. Doing it from a positive mindset is so, so critical. And that starts for me with just being mindful. If we're aware of something, we can start to change it. If we have no idea it's happening, or I didn't know I do this, or that I eat this, we can't change it. So starting there, drinking more water, getting some more sleep. Who thinks they would eat better if they got enough sleep? Think that would be easier? Yeah, if we're not like using our food to give us more energy because I got like 3 hours of sleep last night? Probably. Been there. Grad school. It sucked. Drinking more water, stopping to eat when we're 80% full. Anybody, I know well, Melissa knows, but what the heck is 80% full mean? Like you don't have a metric or like a battery that you can just like, my stomach is 80% full, time to stop. We just had Thanksgiving. How full would you say we get typically on Thanksgiving Day? 120. I usually hear about 150, 150% full. So we want to stop a little before that because we just feel really uncomfortable, right? And again, my goal was to help you feel good. And if you don't feel good being 150% full, maybe we choose something else. Just maybe, it's up to you. So 80% full, move your body in some way every day, creating an active lifestyle. It's good for us. We're meant to move. Eating more whole foods, less ultra-processed stuff, just because that stuff probably doesn't make us feel our best, right? Because we're mindfully eating and we can start to kind of pay attention to that stuff. Exercising in some specific way 2 to 3 times a week, getting a little bit more specific with that, maybe following a program that is really designed to give you the results that you want. And then the very I skipped one, balancing meals, protein, vegetables, fats, etc. And then at the very top, macros, diets, how many calories, how many grams of protein, that stuff. How many people do you think start at the tippy top of the pyramid, right? They're like, I'll just follow this diet, forget about sleep, forget about water. I can do it, da-da-da-da-da. So I kind of want to flip this on its head. I also cover this in my podcast, the Pre-Diet Podcast. I teach these principles. I do try to make it like 15, 30 minutes max because I want it to be like a walkable time. So like listen to me and then go for a walk is the idea. So. All right, so just to cover the basic plants, because I tend to easily talk about non-food things, and they're like, hey, lady, I thought you were going to talk to us about food. So I will talk about food. Up in the corner there is my cute dog, Jasper. I would do anything for that dog, absolutely anything. I have done everything. He's been rather expensive lately. But this is our plate, our average plate, very generalized, right? I'm talking to a room full of 110 women here. So very generalized, about a quarter of our plate, protein. There are some amounts on there to give you more of an idea of what that exactly could be, but it is a range. But what was our first principle? Mindful eating. So if I'm being more mindful and I serve myself 8 ounces, probably going to be a little full. Hopefully I'm mindful, hopefully I notice, and I can stop when I'm almost 80% full. See how that kind of goes back to each other? Half my plate, colorful vegetables. Those are 2 top things. If we can only fit 2 things on our to-do list, that it's going to take you so far. Lacking enough protein, not getting enough fiber is probably the top 2 things as far as like the standard American diet. Everything else, starchy carbohydrates, healthy fats, those things are usually pretty easy to find. We don't have to work too hard. They kind of crop up anyway. And those are a little bit more personable to the person or individualized. The scale on the right here, very depending on where someone is with their relationship with food. I realize the scale can sometimes be a little funky in our head sometimes. But I see the scale like I see the scoop for my dog's food. So I would do anything for that dog, right? I know he wants like 4 cups of food, but I love him and I want him to be healthy and live a long time and be super energetic. So he gets whatever he gets, right? That is his scoop of food because I love him. And so I see the scale as the same thing, not as a tool for restriction, but a tool to be really consistent with. And I now, because I'm a giant nerd with this stuff, I have like recipes. I know exactly how much is in my breakfast as far as like ingredients, yogurt, berries, nuts and seeds, cinnamon, things like that. So I have a recipe that I know really works well for me. It's not that, I don't want to go over calories. This keeps me fueled for the first half of my day and makes me feel really good. So that's where I'm coming at when I'm looking at the scale. It also just sadly redefines a lot of portions. Go ahead and weigh out 2 tablespoons of peanut butter. I'm sorry in advance. It looks a lot smaller. Oh no. All right, well, these shadows here are a list of food lists. So if you subscribe to parksidenutrition.com/subscribe, there'll be a QR code at the end. But on those gray areas is 2 pages of a list of foods. So it just teaches you those categories. So if you're like, man, I'm burned out on chicken and broccoli, we got way more options than that. So you can just kind of sub those in to kind of stick to these kind of general plates. All right. Yeah, my internet's not doing well. All right, so good nutrition. I think it looks like good energy, good mood, good regulated emotions, great bowel movements, really good sleep, good digestion, all those wonderful things. Hopefully, most of the time, majority of the time, not all the time, it's mostly nutrient-dense foods that fuel my body really well. You can kind of think about this as paying your bills before you go shopping on Amazon. So hopefully you made enough money to pay your rent first. That's the same, I think the same way as nutrition. So I need to give my body enough nutrition to function and do all the things that I want. And then if I have some left over and I'm not overly full, let's have some fun food. I think that's very reasonable. And then promotes a healthy relationship with food. I think this one gets left off a lot because they're like, oh, my diet's so perfect. But if it makes it, get a little funky in your head, then I think there's still some work to do as far as what's on our plate and how we're thinking about it. Oh my gosh. I'm so sad. Imagine a giant slice of carrot cake in that gap. I told everybody there was desserts. There are desserts in the presentation. It just disappeared. So I think good nutrition can include desserts. It can include going out to eat, going to parties, being social. I'm really careful about how I talk about nutrition. As you probably alluded, I don't really have a list of good foods and bad foods. I try to talk in helpful or less helpful terms. So helpful nutrition, carrot cake, which should be up there, is very helpful for celebrating my birthday. Very, very helpful for celebrating my birthday. Yeah, that's a stretch. It's very helpful for celebrating my birthday. It's less helpful eating that giant piece. It was a really big piece, I promise. Before like a presentation like this, it would make me more jittery. It would send my blood sugar crazy and just make it really hard to perform as a professional, right? It's not that it's necessarily, it's probably not the most health promoting thing, but I'm more focused on like how I feel. And if that's going to make this job right now harder, it's not very helpful. Later, very helpful. All right, so how does all of this apply to the holidays? Basic lecture on nutrition, over. How does this apply here? So like I said, I have a couple questions for you guys. Gosh, dang it, internet. All right, so my first question is, actually you can see this if you get the worksheets on your table, all those, good thing we have those. All right, so if you look at the first page that says, where are you now? Where are you now? So if we were thinking of kind of starting to think of our goals in 2026, let's just kind of take stock of where we're at right now. Are you happy with your physical state? Are there any goals there? Do you want to lower your blood pressure? Do you want to lower your cholesterol? Are you happy with your body composition? Are you happy what you are physically able to do? Do you have grandkids that you can play with on the ground? All of those things. Also mental and emotional health, because a lot of this stuff ties together. If I'm physically feeling good, usually mentally I'm feeling much better as well. Both those habits usually feed into each other. So we can kind of put some notes there, taking stock. And then what do we want to change? Same thing. Physically, what do I want to change? Are there things in 2026 that I want to be able to do that I can't do now, or I want to be better at them, more proficient? Also, mentally and emotionally, are there things that I'm not really happy with? Do I get to spend enough time with my partner? Is my stress really high? Do I have really wicked mood swings that I could probably, benefit from addressing? And the most important thing here is why. Why do you want to do this? Having a weight loss goal is totally fine, but when things get hard, it's really easy to be like, I don't need to lose 5 to 10 pounds or whatever it is. Or you go to a party and your very well-intentioned friends are like, let me get you a slice of cake. You don't need to lose a pound. Like, it's totally fine. It's not their choice. It has nothing to do with that. It's about you, right? It's what you want and why you want. And so if you have a deeper why that you can't shrug off. So for my personal health habits, I'm trying to lower my blood sugar. It's not pre-diabetic, but it's a little closer than I would be comfortably like. And so for me, that's a pretty hard thing to shrug off, right? Like, I don't want pre-diabetes or diabetes. If someone at a party says, it's fine, they got medication for that, like, don't worry about it. I'm like, you are not my friend. They don't, that's a pretty hard thing to shrug off. So I want it to be to that level of depth as far as why. Similar for the mental and emotional side of things. So you can just kind of get those on paper. And again, something that you can't just, let slide. And then I also want to know typically, and by the way, these are questions I'll ask clients in our one-on-one calls, but I also want to know, what's the best part of the holidays? What are you really looking forward to? What is your version of carrot cake, right? Like, I don't care about a Snickers bar when carrot cake's on the table. So we kind of get to prioritize and compare what's the most important thing to you. Usually up there, it also lists what are your favorite foods? What do you really want to enjoy this time of year? That's okay to talk about. You don't have to tell me perfect answers like, I'm not going to have any cookies. I'm like, I'm going to. Why aren't you? What's wrong with you? So put that on there. What's the best part of your holidays? Also, what's the worst part? On my visual up there, it's apparently not up there. Nope, it's not. What are the worst parts? For me, and also my clients usually say, I just don't want to feel so full that I fall asleep on the couch afterwards. Like, we play games, there's lots of fun things going on. Like, I don't want to miss out on that stuff. I want to be energetic and able to do that stuff. Cool. So the worst parts, probably feeling overly full, sleepy, etc. What helps these? For me personally, going for a walk, probably eating mindfully, so trying to stop a little before I would like to, so I don't fall asleep on the couch afterwards. Maybe going for a walk with my family after dinner. Maybe just sticking to my regular exercise routine, because I know that makes me feel good in general. Things like that. And then also at the bottom here is what makes the worst parts worse. So this is where self-sabotage comes in. And we might go, oh, I already overate. Like, give me another piece of pie. Just whatever. We'll start on Monday. We'll start on the 1st. I'll call Ellie then. Don't do that. Don't do that to yourself. I think it goes really, really far. Everybody wants to hit their like A++ goal and like lose all the weight and do all the things throughout the holidays. There's a lot of value in just feeling better throughout the holidays and not being so, destructive towards ourselves, to be honest. So what makes the worst things worse? Eating more food when we know we're already full. Don't do that to yourself. Be nice. Skipping workouts because you're like, God, I feel so full. Skipping a walk that you would normally go on with your family or partner because like, oh, I feel so full. No. Like, let's not make the worst things worse. So list those things out, cross them out. And the reason I have the signature in the bottom, I do another talk with a habit contract, which is really, really fun for the beginning of the year. But I also have people sign it. And I want you to sign it after you list those worst things, the worst parts worst, cross them out. We're not going to do that this year. Okay, so if you know exactly what makes you feel worse, I don't want that for you. Your best friend doesn't want that for you. Okay, so we want to be nicer to ourselves. So that's that piece of the paper. If you find your habit tracker, looks like this. This is kind of one simple document to keep, just imagine it up there. It's probably because, let me just try to fix this for 2 seconds. I bet I can get it back. We'll see. It might not work. I'm back online. Wonderful. Nope, no, I'm not. All right, well, tried. All right, so habit tracker. This is like one document you keep in your bathroom, on your kitchen cabinet or something, somewhere where you'll see it all the time. So we want to say what things will help the worst parts get better. So overly full, what will help that? Mindful eating, going for a walk, keeping to my exercise routine, something like that, maybe going to bed on time. Hopefully some of those habits like come to mind, right? Well, that's where I'd love for you to fill them in right here under habits, and then also put why. So if you can kind of see up here, from what's up there, mindful eating and stopping when full is one of my top priorities. Because if I do that, like everything else gets so much easier. So for me, my personal goals of like lowering my blood sugar, not an easy task this time of year, mind you, lowering my blood sugar, that's why. So I'm going to put that reason why in that gray column there. So it's front and center of like, when I'm saying no to being mindful and I'm going to be mean to myself and overeat, I'm also saying, I don't care about lowering my blood sugar. I don't care about having better energy. I don't care about my long-term health. A little bit of an exaggeration, but it keeps that front of mind as to why I'm doing it. Same thing if my husband slips up. He's usually very good about asking me the right questions. But if he says, hey, do you want to go for a walk? No. I don't want to go for a walk. It's 5 o'clock. It's dark. It's cold. I'm tired from work. Of course I don't want to go for a walk. Do you want to lower your blood sugar? Fine. fine. But it's front and center, right? And I was wearing like a continuous glucose monitor so he could go, you should go for a walk. But making sure you stay connected to why you're doing that. Lifting 3 to 4 times a week. Do you want to always do that? No, I've been lifting for like 13 plus years. I don't always want to do it, but I do want really big muscles. I've been trying for a long time and I'm still working on it. All right, but that really helps my glucose goal. It helps my long-term health goal, so many things. And so if you don't know how to fill this in as far as like why you should care about this stuff, this is where you could take this to your doctor's office, take this to your health nerdy friend, or me obviously, but we could talk about why you should care about that habit. Maybe it's actually too high on your priority list. Maybe another habit would actually be more beneficial for your goals, but we really want that kind of top of mind. All right, so now you have your daily habits or weekly habits, what we're looking for, why. But what about that one really big event? Oh, it loaded. All right. So that one big event, because usually a one big event tends to kind of derail people for a little bit. And so I really try to focus on that. And I'm very lucky the way I run my business. I talk to people every single week when you work with me one-on-one. No email, we're talking. So we get to talk through a lot of these scenarios of like, hey, Allie, I have this big party, or I have 7 birthday parties this week. Like, what the heck am I gonna do? That's so much different food, all the things. So we write down, or they tell me, what is the big event? So say it's Christmas dinner. I'm like, why is that usually hard to, quote, be a healthy person, right? Because we don't have these, I just have a weight loss goal. It's like we are trying to be a healthier version of ourselves, right? That's how strong I'm trying to get people to kind of take on these habits. So why is it hard to be a healthy person in this scenario? Well, it's all bad food. I feel bloated, I eat too much, etc. That's why it's potentially problematic. I was like, all right, how do you want to feel instead? Like, what would be a big win? I asked a client this yesterday because she wants to see more progress than she's seen, but she's also like, but it's the holidays. And so she's kind of bouncing between the two of like, how do I achieve what I want? I'm like, all right, imagine it's January 2nd, you crushed it. What does that look like? She's like, well, maybe I lost a pound, but I really just don't want to gain more than 3 pounds than I'm at right now. That would be awesome. And I still want to feel good and I still want to enjoy some of the holiday food. I'm like, cool, let's do that. Let's reverse engineer that. How do we do that? So we did. We kind of stepped it back, like what's balanced, what's important, what's not. How many cookies did you used to eat at the Christmas party? Oh, like 10. Okay, well, like 5 is less than 10. So I like that. That's moving in a different direction. She literally used that as an example and she's like, I don't really eat 10. I was like, I know, but it's fine. Whatever, moving in the right direction. Also, what's important at that event? So if grandma's bringing her special pie that you only get once a year, I think that's really important and special. So I don't think that needs to be off our list. Mine is pumpkin pie at Thanksgiving. Like, I want pumpkin pie. I don't care about anything else. Like, that's what I want. So I work my plate around that. So if I don't care about rolls or potatoes in comparison to the pumpkin pie, me and the pumpkin pie are going to be best friends that day. I'm also going to give my body some nutrition at that meal, but I make sure that I get to enjoy every aspect that I want to in a way that still leaves me feeling good. Does that make sense? Hopefully we can like visualize that of like, oh, that's what the gray area is. It's like no cookies or too many cookies. There's a island in the middle that we got to find. All right. Other than that, just taking advantage of the other times of your week. Really don't get too overwhelmed with or make too much out of this one big event. It's one big event. Try to stick to your daily, weekly routine to keep up with your exercise. And if we can really isolate that to truly like one meal or one day of the week, it's not that big of a deal, right? It's when people think they've ruined everything and they just let 2, 3, 4 weeks go by. All right, my last, I feel like one of my best mindset tricks, exercises, is really putting things into context, and numbers are really great for that, for comparison. So if you think, what does feeling good, feeling vibrant, feeling energetic, this came from talking to a client that was getting good results, but she'd see a little bit of progress and then dive back into a bag of Snickers, and I'm like, what are we doing? She's like, how do I keep consistent? And I was like, all right, well, what would it mean to you, like on a scale of 10, 1 to 10, how good would it feel? How good does it feel when you see progress? She's like, oh, that's like 100 out of 10. Like, I feel amazing. I feel energetic, like all the things. She's listing all the things. I'm like, fantastic. How long does that last? And she's like, well, I guess that lasts as long as I keep up with it. It's like, that's cool. So that could be days, weeks, months, like could be an entire year of feeling really good. That's a lot of value. 100 out of 10 for an entire year. Like, can you imagine? Versus, I'm like, the culprit in this scenario was Snickers. By the way, I also really like Snickers. Nothing against Snickers, but they were left over from Halloween. And I'm like, how good, 1 to 10, do Snickers taste? She's like, well, like a 10. 10, pretty good, right? It's one of her favorite foods, has value, but it's a 10. It's capped at a 10. I'm like, how long does that feeling last? She's like, oh, like seconds. That's it. And so just it gives her something to compare. And it's not that we can't ever have the Snickers, like we can, but like the value of that one thing is limited, right? It has a contained amount of value versus you feeling good all the time. Like, and I selfishly think, again, I'm talking to a lot of community members here, you guys feeling good, like 10 times more good, you can do a lot for this community. So I see that as my role is to help you guys feel good because you all do amazing, amazing things in this community. So that's kind of our plan. Working through that, hopefully that helps change your mindset around this all or nothing stuff, gives you like really concrete things, what habits are really going to help you, what ones we could probably let go for a little bit, especially like throughout the holidays. If we can kind of simplify things, hopefully you can kind of coach yourselves through that. As far as more information, the best place to figure out anything else that's going on is subscribing to the email list. It's called the Free Shit Friday email list. And I send out free shit every Friday. And yeah, leaning into the theme. But that's the best place to get any information. There's a new group program coming up in January, trying to make it very affordable, whole $30 a month, going to be very community-based, probably weekly lives or weekly resources, because I still can't not talk to people every week or so in some form. The first 5 to sign up with that, and that'll go out to the email list first. We'll also get custom plans along with that, so we'll have a meeting first. And then an event on January 15th, Energize and Elevate. And selfishly, I think, or humbly, I think we have a lot of really good speakers, John Moore and a bunch of other community members speaking. We have a lot of really great health resources in Salem to take advantage of. So this event is going to be really fun. Otherwise, did that show up? Oh, that showed up. That's good. That's the QR code for the Free Shit Friday email list. Behind serving my clients, my one-on-one clients first, like that's where my next level of effort goes, is to making sure that I'm putting out good resources. Yeah. Are there any questions? Yeah. Oh, Alf. No worries. Sugar cookies? Yeah. It depends on the goal. So like, you know, if someone has an issue with gluten, you can do gluten-free versions of it. My favorite thing with dessert, I love desserts. I truly love them. I just really like to make them in smaller amounts. I've actually done a video with Big Wig Donuts because I love like tasting all the things. I don't care about wine, but I love desserts. So I like to taste things. So I think just making them in smaller portions, I think is one of like the best hacks to do, because then everybody gets to participate, but you've made it easier for them to just, I'll just have one or have this. And so it's just a little bit easier behavior-wise, because I mean, I also don't want to totally, obliterate really good grandma's recipe of sugar cookies by trying to make them healthy, and they're like 50% is good and that whole thing. So, yeah.
So I had a question about the habit tracker.
Yeah.
And maybe I missed this, but
no worries.
big why. So
Yes.
how do you determine the big why? Several sheets or
Yeah, write yourself a letter. Kind of joking, kind of not. One of my favorite books is Atomic Habits by James. Yes, yeah. I love that. But one of the things he has in there, and that's what honestly helped me really get over binge eating, was I wrote myself a letter of like, this doesn't align with the person I want to become, being a nutritionist and also struggling with that. I didn't want to feel shame like I'm a bad person or bad professional for dealing with that. It's a very human thing. And now I feel like it's given me so many skills to help other people. But it was really black and white of like, this does not match the person that I'm trying to become. So honestly, that was like the big pivotal moment for me, was honestly writing myself a letter. And I signed it and I put it on my kitchen cabinet on the inside, so I saw it all the time. And it reminded me of like, hey, look what you said, look what you did. So that was really helpful. But the big why is kind of, again, something you can't laugh off of like, oh, you're fine, you don't need to lose the weight. It's like, you can't laugh off like, oh, you don't need to play with your grandkids. And I'm like, yes, I do. So some big reason that is just like the big motivator. Another example from a client, we did this, she was struggling to get into the gym. It was really easy to shrug off a 30-minute workout at the end of a long workday, right? Very, very relatable. So I just asked her, I was like, why the heck are we trying to exercise? I know why, but what's really important to you physically that you can't do right now? She's like, every time my family goes skiing throughout the holidays, I can't go. I'm not physically fit enough to go skiing. So she gets left at the lodge. She's like, I don't want to spend another holidays waiting for them to come back in the lodge. I'm like, well, we better get training then. Like that's what we're training for. And same thing with another client that had been working out, doing CrossFit for 10 plus years, She just had a year where the workout routine fell off a little bit. And I was like, why do we care about doing this? And she's like, my grandson's coming in 2 weeks and he does not stop. And I need to be able to, and I was like, how much does he weigh? 40 pounds. I'm like, we better start lifting 40 pounds because you're gonna be doing that all day. So connecting it to that big, big why of like, there's no reason you're gonna say no to that. Like that's what you're saying yes to when you agree to a workout. Absolutely.
I was just curious what your like top story, success story that you worked with.
Not really one comes to mind, but when people say that they think about things differently and like they aren't worried about, I had some cookies and I wasn't worried about it because I'm the person that goes to the gym and does the things. Like they've taken on so much of that identity as like, I'm a healthy person, this is just what I do. That is what really makes me like dance at my desk because like that's gonna stick, right? Like they've totally taken that on as like, I'm a good professional, I would never do XYZ that's bad for your profession, right? So no one thing comes to mind, but when people start to talk like that and think like that, I'm like, oh, they've really got it.
Okay.
Yeah, cut me off, sorry.
Sorry, such great information.
Yeah.